Hi everyone, it's Ashley with Going Crochetzy, and for today I am going to be reviewing 5 elephant patterns, paid and free patterns that I am going to just give you guys a review on. So these are all patterns I have done myself multiple times, and so I wanted to just share my feedback for you guys so you can make a better decision on what type of elephant pattern you would like to make on your own if you are maybe looking for an elephant pattern for your future market or just for the fun of making. So I'm gonna start. I'm doing these patterns in the category of what I've made the most of down to what I've made the least of, and just so you can get a clearer idea of maybe the ones that are more market friendly versus lesser market friendly items. But let's go ahead and start with the littlest, the cutest little teeny tiny little elephant here. I've made many of these because they are super market friendly. Obviously, as you can see how little it is, they work up quite quickly. So this is the free no-sew mini elephant by Nooks_Hooks, and you can find this pattern right on Instagram for free. Yep, that's right. I said it's for free, which I know sometimes that is a necessity if you can't really afford to buy a pattern. So I like to always test out the little free ones just because, you know, not everyone can go out and buy patterns all the time. And so this is a great one to start with if you want just a small little elephant. It is no sew. You start from the trunk and you work all the way back to the tail. And then you surface crochet the ears on at the end, and you have like the little baubles for the feet. And this one works up quite quick and it's super cute, and I really liked making this one. Obviously I've made like, I don't know, like 10 maybe of this elephant, and so it's a good one to make, and I definitely would recommend it if you are looking for a little miniature elephant pattern. Cute for like a little stocking stuffer maybe, since Christmas time is coming upon us. And so this one is a definite make in my opinion, and it's rated one of the top for my patterns that I like in the elephants. One that I've made lots of is Samba, the Sleepy Elephant by MellyInspiredCrochet. I love making this pattern, and surprisingly enough, this is completely no sew. Yeah, that's right, it's no sew. So you create the limbs and the ears and tail all before you create the body, and then you start at the trunk and you work your way in and you crochet these within the rounds, and it comes out so cute. I love this pattern. I've always want to make more of these. I usually try to have at least 1 or 2 at every market I go to. Funny thing is, I find the non-traditional colors sell better than the traditional colors, like this gray, which is a very traditional elephant color. Doesn't sell as good as like my pink one that I've made before. Keep that in mind if you're looking into making a samba. You can get really fun and colorful with it, because I think people like that. Like all of the items that I have right now are more of like a traditional colored elephant, and all of the ones that I made that were non-traditional, like purple and pink and stuff, have gone. So just note that for yourself if you are making for markets. But I really love this pattern. I've done it, I think, about 4 times now. I think this was my 4th one, and I really love how it turns out every single time. I like that it's baby safe because you have the sleepy eyes, so there's no safety eyes or anything in here that would harm a baby. So it's a nice baby safe item that you can make for a baby shower or something like that. Fairly quick to make up, so it took me maybe two hours to create this elephant, and the only thing that I noticed is the tail can kind of go off kilter, so you just have to watch your tension for that. Hi Jackie, hi Betty. So you just have to make sure to watch your tension when you are adding in the rounds, because everyone's tension is different, especially if you're using a different type of yarn. This is actually Sweet Snuggles Light. So if you use Parfait Chunky, it would come out a little bit smaller than this if you wanted something smaller. But just watch your tension as you go around and pay attention to what you're doing, and it will turn out super cute. Okay, so the next pattern that I made was this elephant. This is a MadelineMaeCo Elephant. It's a low sew pattern, so there is some sewing involved. You do have to sew the ears and the trunk. The arms you crochet in, I believe. If I am not mistaken. Some of our patterns call for the arms to be sewn on, and some of them call for them to be crocheted in. I've done so many MadelineMaeCo patterns. I can't remember which is which, but you could totally crochet them within the round if it does call for them to be sewn in anyway. But this guy is super cute. I think I've made him about 4 times as well. And I enjoy making him. I think I need to add a little eyebrows because within the pattern itself, it does tell you to add the eyebrows, and I forgot. So I think he needs a little bit more of an expression, but he is cute, low sew, quick to make up. I do enjoy many MadelineMaeCo patterns. I've never really had one that I haven't liked. So this also is a good recommendation if you are looking for an elephant pattern. It all depends on if you want your elephant to stand up, lay down, or what you want it to do. This is a standing elephant. And so there is this one as well. A very good pattern. I enjoyed making that. Next pattern I've made this one 2 times. He is a gigantic. So he is at the lower part of my list, mainly because of the size of him, and the marketability of him is going to be less likely because he is so big. So he does cost more money, and he takes a little bit longer to make. So this is the MatteCoCrafts Emmy the Elephant. I love it. I think it's so cute. I've gotten so many comments on this elephant at markets, but when they go to look at the price tag, they kind of get scared off sometimes because it does take so much time and yarn. I believe this has 1.5 skeins of big twist plush gray in it. Plus you have the little accent colors. Very heavy, hefty work. He weighs a lot, and look how big he is. He's humongous. So he will eventually find his forever home. He does get a lot of love, but he just, is bigger. And he does have a different type of trunk than many of the elephants you see around, which is fun. When I was making this pattern, so I believe you make the legs, the arms, the head, and then you crochet the limbs within the body and you sew it on at the end. So there is sewing involved. But when I was making the head, I did realize when I was trying to sew it onto the body, I was sewing it on opposite of what it was supposed to be. So just really look at those pictures. She has a lot of pictures within the pattern to help you make it, but I didn't look at the picture before I started to sew it on. So when I sewed it on, I was like, oh shoot, I sewed it on wrong. So I had to undo it and then re-sew it on. So just pay attention to those little teeny tiny details. But this one was fun to make, and this does have a mammoth mod within the pattern. So you can make an elephant or you can make a woolly mammoth, which is really cute and fun as well. I did make this with the big twist plush, so he did come out a lot bigger. I also made one in velvet, and it had come out maybe this big. So probably half or less than half the size with the Babe Bernat velvet yarn. So you can make it smaller depending on the weight of yarn you use. This was obviously a bigger weight yarn, and it took a lot more yarn to make it. So just be prepared if you are making this elephant that you have enough yarn to go for it. If you are planning on making the bigger version like mine, it took about 1.5 skeins of that plush yarn. The last one I don't actually have it in my hands. So I'm just gonna show you an image of me holding it. And this one is by HH Designs 4, and it's Everly the Elephant. I've made this pattern twice. This was a really fun pattern to make. I really loved doing it. But the downfalls of this one is it's made out of acrylic worsted weight yarn. So it's the 4-ply yarn. It's a lot thinner of a yarn, which means that you have to work a lot more rounds and stitches to get the big size, because it is about the size of this one here, but just in acrylic yarn. So just be aware ahead of the time that it is going to be a longer time to make it. I think it took me 4 to 5 hours to make this elephant. Well worth the time, I've got to say. I do love this elephant. I do plan on making some in the future, but when I have some more time, when I just want to sit and crochet instead of trying to make a bunch of different things. So be aware of that, and also be aware you're gonna have to do a lot of sewing. So it is not a low sew pattern. I find the worsted weight patterns, the older ones, tend to be less of the low sew and a lot more sewing. I feel like low sew, no sew has only really become a thing within the past year and a half to 2 years. So whenever you're looking at patterns that are worsted weight or maybe an older style of pattern, be aware that you're probably gonna have to do some sewing. I personally don't mind doing the sewing because I've been crocheting for many years and I've always just had to sew the pieces together. So the low sew, no sew really just came into like popular existence within the past couple of years. So it was actually surprising to me when I started picking up all of these patterns and they were low or no sew, and I was like, wow, this is so much simpler. But the designing of it maybe doesn't relate sometimes to certain patterns. So that's why some of the patterns have sew instead of no sew. But other than that, I really did enjoy making this pattern because obviously I made 2. And so it was fun to make, and I definitely would recommend that one as well. All of these patterns are great patterns to do. So definitely keep everything I said in mind while you are looking for a pattern, an elephant pattern. There's so many more elephant patterns out there. I just haven't been able to test them out myself yet. So if you have a pattern that you have tried out that you really enjoyed, make sure to put it in the comments down below, because maybe I would like to try it out myself, or someone that is watching this might like to hear about those patterns as well. And maybe I could make a second elephant review for you guys. But for now, that is everything I have. So I'll leave you with these guys, which are all kind of different. I have the laying, the sitting, the standing, so different varieties of elephant structuring. I do need to make an elephant that is standing on all 4 legs. So if you have a pattern you'd like me to try, leave it in the comments and maybe I'll get to it for another video. And I will talk to you guys all next time. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Leave, obviously, an elephant emoji to let me know you got all the way through this video. And I will talk to you guys all next time. Bye!